Welcome, everyone. My name is Ramon Palencia Calvo, Deputy Executive Director for Maryland LCV. I'm your MC for today's virtual meeting. First off, big thanks for being so accommodating with the change in venue. We figure you might be a bit more comfortable inside on a day with below freezing temperatures outside. We're here today to rally for Maryland's climate future. This is a very, very critical moment for Maryland. As we begin advocating for a strong and effective implementation of Maryland's climate pollution reduction plan. In 2023, Maryland LCV achieved significant milestones in our environmental advocacy efforts, and today we gather to pave the way for more progress in 2024. Last year, our efforts resulted in expanding renewable energy sources across Maryland. Our advocacy played a critical role in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, moving us closer to our goal of a cleaner and more sustainable Maryland. We also saw progress in environmental justice. Our work ensured that state agencies prioritize equity in transportation planning and community green space funding, making sure that our Marylanders benefit from a healthier environment. But our work is far from over. This year, we stand ready to help implement the state's new climate pollution reduction plan. This ambitious plan, mandated by the 2022 Climate Solutions Now Act, sets a target to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 60% by 2031. It's a crucial step towards a zero emissions future, but it requires our unwavering commitment and action. As we move forward, Maryland LCV will continue to advocate for policies that promote clean water, healthy air, and climate-resilient communities. We are committed to ensuring the full implementation of the Climate Pollution Reduction Plan because we believe in a future where environmental sustainability is at the heart of our state progress. Throughout the morning, we invite you to participate in our Google Jamboard, where you can share your thoughts and your story on why we need climate action now. A link and instructions have just been shared in the chat. Thanks for joining us today. Your presence here is a testament to the shared vision we hold for a greener, more equitable Maryland. Let's keep the momentum going. With that, I'm thrilled to pass it over to our fearless environmental leader, Kim Coble, Executive Director for Maryland LCV. Kim, please take it away.
Thank you, Ramon, and good morning, everybody. I hope you are in a nice, warm place and enjoying some coffee or tea or cocoa. We figured it was going to be a whole lot nicer to have you warm and enjoying the conversation from a safe place. So, as Ramon said, it was a tough decision, but we're glad we made it, given that it's about 20 degrees here in Annapolis at the moment. Even though it's cold, things are heating up here in Annapolis. And I'm really happy to say that I was earlier today in the governor's reception room where I was there as he announced the budget for FY24, and we'll be doing a deep dive into that on Friday during our Friday Digest. I will give you a little precursor to say good news is ahead for the environment. So more info on that. But today we are gathering here to really start the hard work. And as I've said to you many, many times, we are a small but mighty team, but we cannot do the work without you. You are the folks that are going to drive the changes that we need to see in Maryland's environment and in our climate action. I'm going to touch on a few of our priorities this session, and then we'll turn it over to some folks that are going to talk about their experience and the impacts that a damaged environment is having on their lives. So good, it'll be good information for you to have. As Ramon said, we 2 years ago, we passed the Climate Solutions Now Act. It set the most bold climate greenhouse gas reduction goals in the country. And I'm proud to say that the Maryland Department of Environment on December 28th issued the plan, the Climate Pollution Reduction Plan, spelling out exactly how to get there. How do we get 60% reduction in our greenhouse gas emissions? And MDE laid it out on paper. So it's a great plan, and we have been clear with the administration that we were very pleased with what's in that plan. Now we have to ensure that that plan gets implemented. And that's what we're doing now. That's what the General Assembly needs to do. And so we are looking for a very robust implementation. We are looking for our collective work to make sure that these actions are implemented and our General Assembly members are taking the votes that they need to do. So our focus here at Maryland LCV is clean environment, and that is both in the natural resources as well as in the climate. So one of our top issues this year is a bill called Whole Watershed Approach, and this is about clean water, which is directly linked to climate, and climate is directly linked to clean water. So we're focusing on the health of the ecosystem. What this bill does is to pull from Pennsylvania, who's done a great example on how to look at an entire watershed at once. And the bill creates 5 pilot projects, 5 watersheds, where it looks at the permitting process from a holistic standpoint. Generally, all of that's done piecemeal. And we like the idea here. We like that it's a pilot so that we can make changes as we learn things from it. We feel that this is a very important bill to ensuring that our watersheds are protected moving forward. The next priority we have is around clean energy. And we have to keep the pressure on for renewable clean energy sources, right? They are going to make the difference. They don't put out greenhouse gas emissions. So we are looking particularly at the solar industry. Last year, you might remember we had a community solar bill. This year, we're looking to build incentives to get solar in places such as rooftops and parking lots and hardened surfaces. And we feel that if we can just put some incentives in place, that industry will really start to boom. We are behind on our solar goals, and those were set in 2019 to be at 14.5% of our energy, and we're somewhere down around 2 or 3% of our energy from solar. We have a lot of work that has to be done immediately. So we're looking to incentivize the solar industry for sure. Another thing around clean energy, however, is that the Empower program, which is a state-run program that is all about energy efficiency. So we want to use less energy, right? That puts less demand on the whole system. So how do we make our homes more energy efficient? And how do we make our buildings more energy efficient? And in particular, those that are, hang on, my phone's ringing. Sorry about that. How do we make that system how do we make that in particular for low income homes? How can we help them become more energy efficient? This program is called Empower, EM Power. And we'd like to make some changes in it so that it works for our climate, it works for low income neighborhoods and communities much more effectively. And it really creates energy efficiency programs for all of Maryland. And in doing so, we're going to build long-term sustainable benefits to our environment and to our communities. The other thing we want to do is create less pollution, right? So we want more clean energy. We want to use it efficiently and effectively. We want less pollution coming out. So we have 2 initiatives on that front. One of them has to do with the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in Maryland, and that's transportation. And it's really simple. The more we drive, the more pollution that we create, right? So we want to really look at reducing the amount of vehicle miles that are traveled. Just let's drive less. And so this bill, and it's called the Transportation and Climate Alignment Act. And by the way, if you're interested in these bills, we'll have more information on our website. Bill numbers aren't up yet for most of these. So once we get that, we'll make sure you have everything you need to be strong advocates for it. But the Transportation and Climate Alignment Act would require the Department of Transportation and regional transportation planning agencies to look at expansion, roadway expansion, and mitigate any climate pollution increases that might occur because of that expansion. So if you're going to build a new road or expand a new road, that means more vehicles are going to travel on it, more miles by those vehicles are going to go. Let's mitigate that increased pollution as we build these roads. So it's a real common sense approach. The last one is, again, let's reduce pollution. And it has to do with really correcting a misclassification. There's a program called the Renewable Energy Portfolio, and that's to incentivize good, clean, renewable energy. And it is meant to incentivize programs around solar and wind and geothermal. And a number of years ago, incineration of trash was put in as a renewable energy. And the idea at the time was that we have a lot of trash, right? So it's an ongoing source of energy. It puts out a lot of pollution, and it is extremely harmful to communities near those incinerations. This bill doesn't shut down the incinerator. It simply stops the state from subsidizing that energy. And there's no way we should be putting limited dollars for renewable energy into subsidizing municipal incineration. So we're trying to get that reclassification of that. Really important. So those are the top bills that we're working on right now. There's more to come on all of those. And let me just close with, again, an earnest and sincere request that you help. We need your voice. We need your advocacy. We need your actions. You are the ones with direct connections to legislators. You're living in their districts, your voters, your conservationists. So please engage with us, and we can help you navigate the system. We can help get you information. We can give you any tools you need so you can really use your voice to make change. And so with that, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're warm, and I'll turn it back to Ramon.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for all you're doing and for highlighting those important issues. Now, we turn our attention to the very heart of the movement, the grassroots and community voices. Their perspectives are so important in shaping effective and inclusive environmental policy. We're honored to be joined by two of Maryland's amazing community leaders and advocates, Walkiria Poole, president of Centro de Apoyo Familiar, the Family Support Center, and Gabriela Lemos, the executive director of Maryland Latinos Unidos. Walkiria has been pivotal in transforming communities through economic, social, and educational empowerment. Her work in the Healthy Families, Healthy Neighborhoods initiative showcases the profound impact of addressing environmental health at the grassroots level. Gabriela's advocacy for social, economic, and environmental justice has been instrumental in uplifting Latino and immigrant communities across Maryland. Her leadership in Maryland Latinos Unidos exemplifies the power of collective strength and unity in advocating for environmental justice. Together, their perspectives are not just inspiring, but a call to action for all of us, highlighting the urgency of our work and showing how we must step up to protect not just our environment, but our communities as well. Now, let's welcome all Walkiria Poole.
Thank you, Ramon. Well, good morning or good afternoon. Yeah, morning still. Everyone, my name is Walkiria Poole. As Ramon mentioned, I have to say I'm originally from the Caribbean, and this weather is killing me here. So I'm the president and founder of CAF, Centro de Apoyo Familiar, or Center for Assistance to Family, as Ramon mentioned, where we transform community through economic, social, and educational empowerment. Today, I stand with Maryland LCV to emphasize the importance of community involvement in achieving equitable climate policy. Our asthma prevention program, as Ramon mentioned, under the Healthy Families, Healthy Neighborhood Initiative, is definitely a testament to what we have achieved together. We've seen firsthand how community factors like poor air quality can affect our community, our children with asthma rates hitting above the state average. By educating families and organizing community cleanup, we have tackled these challenges heads on. The effort of this asthma prevention program align with the importance of community involvement in advocating for and implementing equitable climate policies. We understand the real changes start with grassroots. That's why I love what I do. It is about bringing people together, educating and empowering community to make a difference. As a Maryland LCB champion, legislative advances in solar energy, watershed restoration, and reducing vehicle emission, it is important that we remember the grassroots movement that drive this change. Together with organizations like Maryland LCB, we can foster policies that not only protect our environment, but also will uplift and empower our communities. Environmental advocacy is more effective when it's inclusive, recognizing the unique challenges faced by underrepresented and minority groups like CAP and many of the ones that are here today. Let us continue to work hand in hand. Maryland LCB, community organization like CAF, like CAP, like you, and people who make the heart of this movement. Your voice, your action, and your support are definitely essential to move equitable climate policy and to benefit everyone, especially those who are most vulnerable. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Maryland LCB, for organizing this rally. Thank you, Ramon. Thank you for the community, for your commitment, and for joining us in this journey together for a healthier and more sustainable future for all. Thank you. Have a blessed one.
Thank you so much, Valkyria. And now, Gabriela, please take it away.
Okay. Sorry about that. I was having issues getting unmuted. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Gabriela Lemus. Muy buenos días a todos. Very good morning to all of you. I am the Executive Director of Maryland Latinos, MLU for short. And just a little bit about MLU. Our mission is to really uplift Latino and immigrant communities. We build capacity in grassroots organizations, and we advocate for equitable policies at all levels of government, local, state, national. Our work is centered on identifying urgent community needs and creating sustainable solutions. We focus on building equitable infrastructure, advocating for environmental justice, and ensuring language access in government communications and other critical services that our communities need. This work aligns really, really well with Maryland LCB's commitment to climate justice and equitable environmental policies. We both understand that real change happens when communities are empowered and when their voices are heard in the halls of power. As we continue to track legislation and advocate for issues to lift up Latino communities, we recognize the significance of environmental policies that directly impact our daily lives. From advocating for clean energy to ensuring that Latino communities have access to green spaces and healthy living environments. Our goals are deeply intertwined with those of Maryland LCB. We also believe in the power of unity, in being unidos, not just in our communities, but in coalition with allies and community partners like Maryland LCB. MLU's motto is Juntos Podemos Más. Together, we are stronger. And together with MDLCV, we're championing equity and justice, not only for Latinos, but for all Marylanders. So as we gather here today, let us remember the strength in our collective action. Let us continue to advocate for policies that protect our environment and ensure that every person, regardless of their background, has access to a healthy and sustainable future. Through our combined efforts, we will make Maryland a model of environmental justice and community empowerment. I thank you so much for this time, and muchas gracias a todos. I hope you have a much warmer afternoon than this morning.
Thank you so much, Gabriela and Valkyria. Your incredible work, the work that you're doing in our communities, your stories demonstrate the impact that individual and collective action can have in addressing environmental challenges and creating positive change. Those stories remind us why we are gathered here today. They illustrate the real-life implications of climate change and environmental injustices. Your experiences, your struggles, and your victories need to be heard, especially by those who have the power to make a difference, our legislators. It is essential that we take those stories to Maryland decision makers when you share your story. When you share your story, you put a face to the statistics and the policies. You transform abstract concepts into something real, something that cannot be ignored. This is why your voice and your story is so powerful and necessary in the fight for our environment. We call on each of you to take the momentum and that we're generating today and turn it into action. Share your stories. Tell your legislator why we need climate action now. Let them know how climate change is affecting you, your family, and your community. Now, I'm pleased to introduce our guest speaker, whose presence today is truly a testament to the importance of our collective work to get the job done. More importantly, his presence shows us that legislators are listening to you. Our guest is here because he understands how those issues affect everyone in Maryland. I'm pleased to welcome Delegate Mark Corman, Chairman of the House Environment and Transportation Committee. Delegate Corman is a passionate leader for the environment. He has received 100% of our legislative, 100% on our legislative scorecard nearly every year of his time in office, and was awarded our coveted Legislator of the Year award in 2018. Chairman Corman has been an integral member of the House Appropriations Committee for 9 years, but we are thrilled to see such a committed champion appointed to serve as the chair of the Environment and Transportation Committee. Chair Corman, please take it away.
Great. Well, thank you, Ramon, and thank you to the whole LCV team that put this together. I know you had some sort of late decisions about how to schedule it, so I'm glad it able to come off so well, and you have great participation, obviously. I recognize a lot of constituents' names, which is always nice, but really environmental activists and interested Marylanders from all over the state, which is exactly what we need. I am the new chair of the committee, but I want to give a shout out to Regina Boyce, who's the vice chair of the committee, long-serving member of the committee, and also very committed to these issues. And really pleased that he's no longer vice chair of the committee because he's been promoted to Speaker Pro Tem, but I see Dana Stein is on the call as well, and he's staying on as our Environment Subcommittee Chair, which is really important. He, along with Paul Pinsky and Kumar Barve and others, is really sort of the one of the parents of the Climate Solutions Now Act. And that act's really important. I mean, I think like all of you, sometimes I read the newspaper or I don't watch cable news, but catch something on Twitter and feel pretty depressed about the state of things. And then I remember that I live in Maryland, where we have been, are, and will continue to take actual action. A lot of those bills that Kim talked about, both previous ones and efforts this year, will make a real difference. They'll make a difference in our own climate goals, which I'll talk more about in a second. They'll make a difference for our clean air, kind of regardless of the climate impacts. It's better for the environment. It's better for air quality if fewer people are in single occupancy vehicles and taking transit instead. And it's good for us to be an example. We spend a lot of time in this state asking, what's California doing? What's Oregon doing? What's Washington doing? What's New York doing? And that's good. It really helps us to be able to look at other models. But then we get to be the model for the states that come behind us. So Delaware or Virginia can look at us and say, oh, building energy performance standards, this is something that Maryland's doing. How are they doing it? Maybe now we can pick this up. So it's really important for that reason. All of the bills Kim talked about, both past and present. This is, as some of you have heard me say a lot of times, the season of implementation, right? We have our goals, we have our sort of marching orders, right? The Climate Solutions Now Act is setting us on a course to be net zero by 2045 with interim goal along the way there. I believe it's a 60% reduction from 2006 levels. We've already done a lot of the things that are going to help us get there, but there's more to do. There's sort of three streams of implementation. One is kind of the executive branch action. So I'm really curious to hear Kim's budget breakdown, because that obviously involves the actions of the executive, but I'm really focusing more there on sort of the rulemakings that the executive branch can undertake to implement the Climate Solutions Now Act. The second stream is that budget piece, right? How are we going to pay for these things? The climate plan that was put out at the end of last year identified about $1 billion a year funding gap that they think we need for a lot of these programs to incentivize, for example, having people switch over appliances and getting more people in zero-emission vehicles and so forth. So that's another stream. And then the third stream is that legislative stream. What changes do we need in state law to reach our goals, right? What are the tweaks that we need? So we don't need another goal, right? We have the goal. It's what do we need to change in our state laws that allow us to meet that goal? So for example, Delegate Foley on my committee has legislation that would move the state off of non-road equipment that uses fossil fuels. So to get the state highway administration, when they're using leaf blowers to clean up the side of the road, to use electric leaf blowers as opposed to diesel powered. My colleague, Delegate Fraser Hidalgo, is going to have a bill that comes out of a Commission on Climate Change, which I know LCB is very involved with, recommendation on putting the incentive for zero emission vehicles on the hood of the vehicle. And so we're not leaving it to the consumer to put the cash in up front, go home, fill out a bunch of paperwork, cross their fingers, and hope that a check comes from the state, but really put that burden on the dealers to work with the state to get that discount and just reduce the sticker price for folks. There's a lot of things like that that we can do that the committee is going to be taking up. The committee, will probably have 400 pieces of legislation this year. I know a lot will be of interest to LCV, and not all of them will directly relate to what I was just talking about, of course, but I do think overall, a big part of our mission this year is to focus on implementing the really ambitious goals that we've set out. And I'm looking forward to working not only with all of my colleagues, but really all of you as our stakeholders. So please don't be strangers. Submit testimony, come fill the halls, come meet with legislators, and advocate for your interests here and the interests of your children and grandchildren, because that's what this is about. And appreciate the opportunity to chat with you all. Thanks again, Ramon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Delegate Corman, for your remarks and for your support for Maryland's environment. As we draw this rally to a close, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us today. Our work for 2024 is just beginning. This Friday, we have an important session planned for our Friday Digest. We will be doing a deep dive into the state's budget and exploring its implications for our environmental advocacy and environmental advocacy work in the coming year. It's an opportunity not to be missed for anyone passionate about our cause and eager to understand the intricacies of our legislative process. You can find the link to register for the Friday Digest in the chat. Now, I want to spend a minute sharing our Why Now campaign. Everyone has the right to healthy air, clean water, and climate-resilient communities. We know we need 100% clean energy for a healthy environment for everyone in Maryland. And we cannot afford to wait any longer for climate action. And that's why we have launched our Why Now campaign. We are collecting Marylanders' stories on how climate change affects our lives and communities. Our leaders need to hear those stories. So what can we do? Take a short video, no more than 60 seconds, on why we need bold climate action now. Then share on social media and make sure to tag us. Once you're done, ask your neighbor, friend, your networks to do the same. We need collective action, and Maryland needs you and your story. Please click on the link in the chat to see how you can share your story. I also want to thank our incredible guest speakers who have shared their insights, experience, and passion. Your words have not only enlightened us, but have also strengthened our resolve to make a difference. Now, as we part ways, I urge you not to see this rally as the end, but as the beginning, a beginning of a journey we embark on together to advocate for a healthier, more sustainable Maryland. Our work is far from over. In fact, it gains momentum from this moment. Sign up with Maryland Eagle Conservation voters to receive updates throughout the legislative session. We also encourage you to connect with your legislator, as Delegate Corman mentioned. Let your voice be heard. Advocate for the environmental causes you believe in. Our legislators need to know that their constituents are watching, caring, and demanding action for the betterment of our environment. Remember, every call you make, every letter you write, and every conversation you have with your representatives make a huge difference. Together, we can create the change we wish to see in our world. Thank you once again for your unwavering support and dedication. Goodbye, and let's keep fighting for a greener, healthier, cleaner Maryland. Thank you.